Rory McIlroy admitted in a recent interview that while unifying professional golf would be best for the sport, the path to getting there now looks extremely difficult after everything that has happened over the past few years. He said he supports the PGA Tour and the traditional structure of men's golf, but dealing with opposing groups has become far more complicated than anyone expected. More than 2 years have passed since the PGA Tour and LIV Golf announced their initial framework agreement, yet the two sides still feel nowhere close to reuniting. Even players from both tours are openly acknowledging how wide the gap has grown, Bryson DeChambeau told Fox News. He doesn't expect major progress anytime soon because each side wants too much and isn't willing to compromise, saying both groups are firmly standing their ground. He still believes golf will grow internationally, but accepts that meaningful change will take time. Rory tried earlier in the year to ease the tension, reminding everyone that whether players stayed on the PGA Tour or joined LIV, the split increased earnings across the board and that it's time for the sport to calm down and move forward. Speaking at the Genesis Invitational, he said clearly that everyone has benefited from the situation in some way, and the focus now should be on bringing the game back together instead of staying divided. Rory McIlroy has been clear that today's huge prize funds, like the $20 million purse players are competing for this week, it simply wouldn't exist without LIV's impact on the sport. He said everyone needs to stop dwelling on the past and accept that this is the new starting point for professional golf. According to Rory, the only way forward is to move on, let go of grudges, and focus on rebuilding the game together. He acknowledged that some players are still upset about who left or stayed, but emphasized that those feelings shouldn't stop the sport from progressing. He also pointed out the financial reality behind reunification, explaining that players now hold equity in PGA Tour enterprises thanks to the $1.5 billion investment from the Strategic Sports Group, and that the value of those shares rises when the tour performs well. Bringing top players like Bryson DeChambeau back would strengthen the product and increase the value for everyone. Rory's shift in tone is striking, considering he was once the strongest critic of LIV Golf. But now he openly admits that, despite the disruption, both sides have benefited and that professional golf can't keep thriving while split in two. He said the early divide was damaging for the sport, but now it's time to rebuild together for the good of the game. Rory McIlroy admitted that the split between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf hasn't been good for either side or for the sport as a whole, saying the only bright spot has been the major championships where everyone finally comes together. But even that isn't enough to make the current divide sustainable. Earlier this year, it looked like both tours were inching closer to a deal, but by March, the tone completely shifted and negotiations went silent, leaving fans wondering what's really happening behind closed doors. Meanwhile, LIV Golf has been working to build credibility by reapplying for world ranking points, moving to 72-hole events, and launching a revamped Q-School pathway. All clear signs it wants recognition within the traditional golf structure. The switch to 72 holes made headlines, but Rory wasn't convinced it was the key to earning OWGR points. Speaking at the 2025 Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship, he said LIV didn't need a fourth round to qualify, and that the format wasn't the real barrier in the first place. He added that the move brings LIV more in line with traditional tournaments rather than acting as a disruptor. And if LIV believes 4 rounds help their case, then that's the path they'll take. His comments reveal the bigger picture. LIV is trying hard to fit into the established golf world, but unifying the sport is still a long, complicated road. LIV Golf isn't slowing down at LIV under new CEO Scott O'Neill. The breakaway league looks more determined than ever to push forward, and it's clear they're not backing out of the game anytime soon. Their recent changes show they're doubling down on proving they belong in the golf world, no matter what critics say. Meanwhile, both Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau admit that the long-promised reunification of the sport still isn't gaining real momentum, but DeChambeau remains optimistic, telling Fox News he believes the game will improve with time, calling LIV's presence positive disruption. That just needs the waters to settle before a perfect scenario brings everyone back together. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest that both leagues are quietly feeling out the possibility of future talks, with PGA Tour executives and LIV representatives exchanging informal messages not official, but enough to spark hope that the door isn't fully closed. Still, trust is the biggest obstacle. The split left deep scars that money alone can't heal, and players who were once teammates now stand on opposite sides, their tension obvious every time they meet at a major. Fans feel it to every handshake. Every press conference moment carries extra weight. Golf may look calm on the surface, but the rivalry underneath is still very real. And the real question now isn't if the sport will reunite, but how long everyone is willing to wait for it to finally happen. Even as talks cool off, LIV Golf keeps shaking up the sport with bold moves and high-energy events bumping music, flashy team colors, and massive prize pools that stand in sharp contrast to the PGA Tour's traditional, legacy-driven style. LIV is clearly aiming at a younger global audience craving spectacle, while the PGA Tour holds tight to prestige, history, and consistency, creating two brands that couldn't feel more different, one powered by flash, the other by heritage. And while purists still lean toward the tours, even they admit LIV's arrival has forced the entire golf world to evolve, with some players privately acknowledging that the rivalry has made the sport more profitable and entertaining than it's been in years. Still, the divide remains. Two powerful organizations both claiming to represent golf's future, and the longer they stay separated, the harder it becomes to unite the game under one roof again. Fans are split too. Some love LIV's wild format and see it as the spark golf needed, while others believe it goes too far and strips the game of its tradition. Every live event ignites social media. Players switching tours make instant headlines, and the constant drama keeps the conversation alive, which sponsors love for attention but hate for instability. Behind the scenes, locker rooms are filled with quiet frustration as PGA and LIV players grow tired of the politics and admit they miss the days when the best faced each other weekly. Those rivalries, those electric Sunday battles. Rumors now suggest a few top names are pushing for a joint event, not a merger but a one-time showcase to test the waters for future cooperation. And the idea is gaining momentum. With tension rising and fans craving unity, the 2026 season is shaping up to be a defining moment for the future of professional golf. Both leagues are gearing up for massive announcements, new schedules, fresh sponsors, and even potential surprise player signings that could tilt the balance yet again, with insiders hinting that several rising stars remain undecided about where they'll compete next season, keeping both sides on high alert. LIV Golf is pushing its global expansion harder than ever, rolling into new cities with bigger entertainment acts and a bold, modern edge, while the PGA Tour doubles down on tradition, legacy, and the prestige of being the home of golf's greatest legends. But as both sides escalate their strategies, fans are asking the same question: when does this all end? The sport can't thrive in two separate worlds forever. There's too much pride, too much history, and too much money on the line, and every decision, every press conference, every player rumor now carries enormous weight. Golf's next chapter is unfolding in real time, and no one knows whether it leads to a long-awaited reunion or a permanent split that reshapes the sport forever. Each season brings new twists, more drama, and more players caught between two visions of the future, turning the entire saga into a real-life sports soap opera. Will a shocking merger unite golf again? Or will the divide deepen into two completely different professional universes? One thing's certain, the next move could change everything, so don't blink because the game has never been hotter. And if you've been following this wild PGA versus LIV drama, hit subscribe to the Golf Hub, turn on notifications, and drop a comment below with your prediction. Reunion or two new golf eras? Reunion or two new golf eras?